Welcome back to the Catnip What? Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace, and today is Monday, December 6th. This is a podcast about knitting, books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting, because that is what I love to do all day, every day. I have been gone. I am back. I'm in a different location because the holidays, and we have so much to discuss. So we're just gonna get right into it. I have all the various social medias. I completely forgot. I didn't forget that I have social media. I just forgot to mention it because that's what happens when you don't record for a couple weeks. I do have various social medias. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. Most active on Instagram. Lots of stuff goes on over there, so please go follow me over on there. I also have show notes, links to things that I will be talking about will be on my blog. The link to my blog will be down below, or if you're on YouTube, everything will already be there. I also work at a yarn store. It is called Pearly Girls. It is in Spring, Texas, and I will leave all the various, again, social medias, website, address, all that kind of fun stuff. We now are online as well, so if you would like to check out our shop and you are not local, you can do that. Or if you just want to come say hello, we would love to say hi and help you find a holiday project for yourself or for someone else. So now we can get into it. Now we've done all the normal stuff. Yes. Right? Is there anything else that I say? I don't think I do. Well, if I do, we'll just figure it out as we go along. If you want to grab something tasty to drink, something to snack upon, something to craft upon, an animal to snuggle, my animal is over there on the couch, sleeping. Something, maybe you're on your lunch break, maybe you are enjoying some holiday baking, whatever that may be. Maybe you are just relaxing, whatever brings you joy. You can do all of those things or whatever, and you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. So, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge my bangs. They are feeling very long. They have definitely grown, and they are clean. I did do my best to clean and blow them dry. What are they doing now? I don't even know. But it is hard for me to make them look nice right now. I'm feeling very self-conscious about my bangs, so we have things like this. I will try not to be too distracted by my bangs. No guarantees. Second of all, I am in front of our Christmas tree. We set that up this past weekend, and I just wanted to do something different. So here we are. Because I am out here, I am in our living room. The laundry sounds are a little bit more apparent. There is also work going on outside of the apartment complex on something, I don't know what, but they are hammering on something quite loudly. But I think you could hear that regardless of where I was. So I apologize if you hear hammering. I apologize if you hear laundry sounds. It is just the fact of the matter, and it is real life, it is reality, and it's okay. It's fine. So everyone, I've got so much to discuss, and I don't even know where to start. I do have finished objects, and got 3 finished objects, everyone. I've got 3 of them. And one of them I technically have already shown you, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway because it's now been worn quite a bit and I loved it so much. But first of all, this is one that you have seen recently. This is my lightweight hipster shawl by Joji Locatelli, and in fact I was correct. It is the Holly Jolly colorway from Volan Vine Yarns. And the only reason why I had that confirmed was because one of those like Facebook memory thing popped up, and it was like 7 years ago. And I was like, I just cast on this new scarf and I'm just so excited with my Holly Jolly colorway. And I was like, That's no longer that. But I am done with the other thing. So I did do this, and then I did add the bottom edge with some Madeline Tosh that are both sparkly. I don't think you can fully see the glorious sparkle. It bled, everyone. I'm so sad. I knew that it probably would happen, and honestly, it really doesn't matter. It still looks like festive, but this is what it originally looked like, and this is what it looks like now. So, I mean, it is what it is. I can't be too mad because I did know that it could happen, and I was just not paying attention to the clock when I was blocking it and soaking it and all that jazz, and so it just happened. But again, it's not like it's not festive. I still really like it. It's what I was going for. It's just not that same original color. So it is what it is. Bleeding happens when you block things. It's this, which I still love and will continue to use until it is gone. I just have to be very, very wary of blocking things with this, especially if there's any lighter color involved. Thankfully, I have enough, obviously, to make tassels. I'm very excited about that. I have yet to make tassels. But yeah, I worked on this a lot on the plane ride to my parents, at my parents, and then I cast on our first leg of our trip home, and I now have bang hairs in my eyes. That is such a struggle. I feel like that's something that people don't really talk about with bangs. I've had bangs a bazillion times in my life, but the lone strands of hair that are somehow longer and misplaced and they stick down and poke you in the eye are just like some of the most annoying things, because then if you try and move them, then you ruin the placement of your bangs. And if you're in my position, then everything's just kind of like you've placed it nicely because it's a weird length and then you get poked in the eye and it's like, why? I just want to see, and I want to have cute bangs. Definitely first world problems though, for sure. So that is my first finished object. I am super excited that I got this done, and I am procrastinating putting on the tassels because I just haven't wanted to. I've been working on other things, and I've been finishing other things, and you're about to see all of that. But I do need to put the tassels on because I do want to wear it because it's the holiday season, and that was the point of me making this. So I just need to suck it up and just do it. My second finish object is this barley hat, and now we're really gonna mess up the bangs, but I honestly don't care because this is a super cute hat. This is a good look. Okay, there we go. This barley hat is quite wonderful. It is by Tin Can Knits, and I still have things in my eye, and I don't know why. I used Barocco Sesame, and I do not have the ball band anywhere near me, but I really enjoyed, this was such a very spontaneous knit. I was taking pictures of sesame for something at work, and I saw this colorway and I was like, I need that. I've been very good about like not spontaneously buying yarn for the most part, and this was, I knew that I could knit this very quickly and it wouldn't sit in my stash, and I cast this on the day before we left, and we had some travel difficulties getting to my parents, which enabled me to finish my hat on the plane. It was quite dramatic, and thankfully did not involve any bumpy rides, because we've had bad experiences with that getting to my parents, but thankfully that was not the case. Our pilot person, our pilot, was very good at what he did and does. Anyway, so yeah, I really like this hat. It needs a pom-pom. I have yet to do that. I'm thinking of like doing a navy pom-pom. I think that would be very fun. I do need to weave in the ends. I will not be blocking this, just because I like the shape it is right now. So I'm excited. And now we get to deal with these bangs. But I really do love this yarn. It's appearing much more orange on camera than it is in person. It's much more reddy pink, with a little bit of orange. Like this brown stripe is actually orange and these stripes are like red and pink, but such is life, such is lighting. Now do we fix our bangs? I don't know. So that is that. And then everyone, my beloved diamond jumper. I did finish it. I did block it, or I steamed it. It was wonderful. I wove in all the ends the day before we left. It was great. I packed it. I didn't wear it on the plane, but I did wear another hand knit on the plane. It was quite wonderful because I knew, see, this is the problem about flying from Houston to Colorado, especially in the wintertime, because you are going to be sweating in Houston and you're going to be freezing when you get to Colorado. So it's hard to dress appropriately other than bringing layers, but then that takes up space in your carry-on. And if you're wanting to bring knitting, that is just really kind of a hopeless cause because you need to be warm, but you also don't want to run out of knitting. And it's a very scary idea to run out of knitting on a plane or anywhere. So I ended up wearing one of my sweaters and it was quite wonderful. Anyway, the point is this. I did get to wear my diamond jumper by Ann Venzel. This is Cascade Eco Wool in the taupe colorway. I cannot begin to express to you how much I love this sweater. I wore it so much and it was just absolutely perfect. I wore like a t-shirt underneath it. It was wonderful. I did not get overheated. I love it so much. And I'm so glad that this is now in my wardrobe. And I will be wearing it here in Houston at some point because supposedly we're supposed to be getting a winter. But also because I want to wear it, because I love it. It's my favorite and I want it to happen. So you do what you gotta do, you know. So I believe those were my finished objects and I now have things in a bazillion bags that I need to discuss. I also have advent calendar stuff. I also have just general progress. Oh, I forgot about this. There's just so much to talk about. I don't even know where to begin. Where do we begin? Let's do advents first because that's like the easiest thing right in front of me. So I'm doing 2 advent calendars this year. I'm keeping them in this basket. We have Lavender Loon in these little packages, and then we have Heathered Handmaids in these tall packages back here. And I am loving it so much. So today, December 6th, when I'm recording this, this was Heather's colorway today, which I love, and it is called Hedgehog Hangouts. So she's been posting every day the inspiration picture for these colors, which I'm loving because I also then get to see cute pictures of cozy animals, and I'm loving that. But it's just really fun to see how well she translates these pictures into her yarn, which is just really wonderful. What is it in this one? No, it's in this other one. So for Heather's advent, I am getting a little behind, but that's okay. You know what? We're not about perfection here. We are not about stressing ourselves out to do all the things, to stay on top of stuff unless it's like imperative that you do. this is not imperative, and I've got other things that I need to be worried about, and advent calendars are not one of those things. So I'm just taking my sweet time, and I'm really loving it. So I am doing the Honey, I Shrunk Your Stash by Knit Graffiti that just came out. It is a completely like plain brioche one color shawl. I said those things out of order. One color brioche shawl, and it's just super fun. You've got your basic increases, and it's just super fun. You do have your 2-row repeat type thing to complete 1 row, like you do with 2-color brioche, but there's no like turning involved, and there's no like knitting the same row twice, basically, as it feels like when you're knitting with 2 colors. It's super fun. Her day 1 was the big skein, which is super awesome, so I'm using that as kind of like a transitional color in between each one, which I think is super fun. So I'm currently working on, what was this one called? It wasn't that one either. Was it this one? I think it was. Yes, so I think this is called Hedgehog in Fall, which is super beautiful. I'm loving this so much. So this is what the color I'm currently working with. I will then fade into yesterday's color, which was green tea. I also really just love watching people like fold their mini skeins and hold it up like that. I've been watching a lot of Vlogmases, and so then I will then go into today's, which is super fun. I'm loving it! What I've really enjoyed about Heather's advent calendar so far, which I know we're only on day 6, but what I've really enjoyed about it so far is that if you are familiar with her yarns, you might know that she is like incredible with all of her colors, obviously, but mainly with purples. Purples are her thing, and she gets purples perfectly. As a purple lover, she knocks it out of the park, and so it's super fun to see her do not purple. And I'm sure there will probably be purple in here at some point, but I was surprised to see this greeny, foresty beginning, and it's just, it goes to show you how good she is at what she does, because she's just an incredible artist with yarn. So if you're unfamiliar with her yarns, I would highly recommend you checking her out. I also have some new stitch markers, or progress keepers, from Hand Stitched Life. I have this little snowflake, and then I have this little snowman, and then I have one of these little light, Christmas light markers that I got from Jen, not last year, maybe 2 years ago. So I'm loving this, and I need to wind up today's skein and yesterday's skein, so that is very exciting. I'm looking forward to that. So my other advent calendar is Lavender Loon, and I went with her boho chic option. She did have an Avatar, The Last Airbender option, and the boho chic, and my mom and I went with the boho chic because after last year's with pineapple yarns and the bright neons and everything, we just wanted to go with a little bit more soft and subtle color palette, and I am doing Wavy Wiggles, and I do happen to be in the middle of a row because I didn't plan ahead. Here's what I have so far, and I'm loving it. So this is Wavy Wiggles by Stephen West, and I have 4 colors in here so far, beginning the 5th color, which is this. Hers are unnamed, but I'm loving it. She is also kind of going a similar way that Heather is in regards to a tonal or variegated and then a more solid color. This is today's color, and it is just beautiful. It is stunning. So I'm really loving wavy wiggles. I've definitely gotten to a point in this pattern where I can just do it without looking at the pattern, which is great. And I'm just really enjoying every moment of it. I'm loving how these colors are turning out together. I think this is very boho chic and I love it. I'm living for all these colors. Like, it looks so good. It looks good in person. It also looks good on camera. It's just so good. I also am now realizing I always forget when I sit on the floor to record, inevitably one of my feet always falls asleep. And it is very uncomfortable. So, one of my feet is falling asleep in case you did not know, but now you know. Hopefully none of your feet are falling asleep. So that's fun. We had to take a quick break because I needed to plug in my camera because I hadn't recorded in a while, and so my camera was low on battery. But thankfully we're near an outlet, so it's all okay. So, what do we talk about next? We've talked about Advent stuff. We've talked about finished objects. Let's talk about the thing I have the most. Actually, no, let's talk about this one first. So this was a pre me leaving or us leaving for Thanksgiving project, and I did bring it to work on it because it was just plain garter stitch at this point. And I got a good amount of progress done. This is my cruiser cardigan, which doesn't look like much, but it is my cruiser cardigan, and it is much longer than it used to be. I know that doesn't look like much, but I actually had moved it from like down here somewhere. This is one of my Christmas progress keepers from Little Bitty Delights. Please focus. There we go. This is by Skein Yarn. It is a cardigan with a dolman sleeve. It is all garter stitch. It's a very snuggly looking cardigan, and my yarn is I can't remember. It looks like this. I know it's like a it's an eco wool of some sort. It's like from, oh, Patagonia, that's what it is. Glad I remembered, because I don't have any of the other skeins nearby. This is a very smashed skein. It came with me in my carry-on going and was packed in my suitcase coming back, and so that's why it's all smashed. Because, of course, we got other things, and I did in fact bring my lavender loon advent calendar with me to open and start with my mom, even though it wasn't December 1st, but I wanted to do that with her, and I was not going to see her on December 1st because she lives in Colorado now, which is very far away from where I live, which is in Houston. Which was very wonderful, and I'm very happy that they're there because they are happy. But I wanted to do that with her, and we got to cast on our wavy wiggles together, and that was very fun. While their pets, Teddy and Hank, played around us, and it was very wonderful. So that was an old cast on. We're just going to briefly mention that. Very little to show you. It's just working in garter stitch back and forth, back and forth. It's interesting construction because it's like the long measurement. So you have very long rows at the very beginning, and it's just taking me a long time, but that's okay. I'm not in any rush to get it done. So next up would be probably one of my, we're gonna start with new cast-ons now. What all is in here? Let me just dump this bag out. Ooh. I know that there are a lot of like local places to shop in Houston. I am very aware that there are a lot of them, but I just feel like sometimes they're hard to find. And in Colorado, I don't know if it's just that they're easier to find, they're more widely advertised or something, but it was just so much fun to get to shop in local shops when we were with my parents. and we went to this like apparel store called Vela, and they gave us a bag, or they gave me a bag, and I picked the yellow one, and I love it. It's so cute, and it's got mountains on it, and it's like the perfect project bag, and it made things very easy, so I could just wrap it up. I could put everything in, and I rolled it up and put it in my suitcase, and it was so wonderful. Anyway, that has been holding a lot of this yarn that I've gotten on this trip. So, excuse me. Actually, no, let's talk about this other thing first. So, let's get a little organized first. I will feel a little bit better. Oh, I forgot. So, in Heathered Handmaid's Advent Calendar, she did it in collaboration with Ura of Knit Boop, and she just released her pattern to go with that today, I believe. But Heather also included a pin of her own, and then some stitch markers from Ura, which I love. I love the stitch markers. I love the pin. I'm so excited to show them to you. The pin is just too cute, so we're going to start with the stitch markers, but these are from Ura of Knit Boop. So I think there's a total of 3 of them. We've got these 2, just plain dangly ones, and then we've got this accent one that's got, it looks like moss inside, which is very fun. I love that. And then the pin. I apologize. The pin, everyone, is just truly where it's at. This pin, actually I need to take this out of the cellophane. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. The pin is of Heather's dog. His name is Bear, and he is so sweet. I apologize for the crinkling plastic. He is so sweet. I actually got to meet him very briefly when she was doing her trunk show at Pearly Girls in September. And he's so sweet. And this is Bear, and he's a pin, and I can't even. He's so cute. I'm just so in love with this pin. So those are fun little treats. And I think actually there's all my knitting. This is where I keep my knitting beside, because I sit here and my knitting stays there. In the Lavender Loon there was a little gift as well. And I believe this is a little handmade ornament from Kitty's Knitty Creation, which is super cute, and it's kind of like this macrame beautiful ornament thing. Or you could hang it on the wall. I think that would be very nice too. It's very pretty. My mom's is actually kind of like rust color, which was very fun, and I was not expecting it. She opened it, and I was like, because I knew what it was, because I opened it before I left, and she opened it, and it was a rust color, and was like, oh, I like that. I love the white, but I also really like the color that she got. So those are the fun little additions. Heather also included a little notebook, just a regular blank notebook, which I love. Can never have too many notebooks, that is for sure. But moving forward with projects that we have started recently, my mom and I made plans before Thanksgiving to knit the clove sweater together. And this is a recent pattern by Rachel Kurihara of Rachel Knits Things on Instagram. I test knit for her earlier this year. She has some beautiful patterns. And don't tell me, am I in the middle of a row and I have stitches coming off my needles? What is wrong? What is wrong with me? I don't think, was I working on this on the plane? I don't remember. Anyway, so we had ordered that yarn probably at the beginning of November, and I did not remember what my colors were that I had picked out, and so, but they were shipped to my mom. So she had them, and we were gonna cast on together, and but I had forgotten what the colors were that I had picked out. So that was very exciting, and I got to see what I picked out, and I was very pleasantly surprised, and I was very happy with my choices. It was a nice pat myself on the back moment. But we are using Stroll Tweed, and this is the Persimmon colorway. And then I'm holding it with Aloft from Knit Picks as well in the Oat colorway. And let me tell you, it is creating the most beautiful fabric. It is amazing. And here it is. Everyone. Can we even, like, what? This is my pumpkin pie slice from Little Bitty Delights. This has been just one of the most amazing mindless knits. It's similar to the cruiser cardigan almost, in that you start knitting back and forth on just the shoulders, which made it really easy for mindless knitting, which is perfect for family gatherings when you have to be paying attention to other things, or you're in the car, or you may be walking around, which is what I did one day, and I was just having the time of my life because I was walking around. It was cold. I had my woolen honey on. I was people watching. I was with my mom and my sister, and I was knitting on my clove sweater all at the same time, and I could see the mountains, and I was just so happy, and I got a lot of knitting done. So, it's been a fun time. I feel like I still have a pretty far amount of inches to go, because that was grammatically correct. I have quite a few inches left to knit. There we go. But that's okay. Again, it is a mindless knit. I am loving this. My mom, her colors are beautiful. It is a black mohair, and I forget what it's the barn door. It's like this purpley maroon, and it is so beautiful. I love it. I cannot wait to see how hers turns out, but I'm also loving mine. I don't have anything that is this color or a sweater that I've knitted that I can remember. And I am just loving how this has turned out so far. It's like tweed plus mohair, and it's just like, I just love that. I just love it so much. So much. So I cast that on, I think this was on Thanksgiving Day. I think. Was it Thanksgiving? Or was it the day before? We got in later than we had intended the day before Thanksgiving because of our travel drama. We got there eventually, but there was drama. So I have a lot of this, which is great because that is important, and that did add to my suitcase space, but that was okay. It kind of worked out well in the end because I had quite a few things to bring with me for my parents that had either been shipped to me or we had picked up for them. So I took out those things and just filled all the spaces with yarn. It worked out pretty well. So, in regards to new things that I have cast on, I also have this, which has been so much fun to knit on. I can see myself making many of these and want to make many of these. I love this so much. It's hard to really see the detail of it because it's not blocked yet. I think once this yarn gets blocked, it's just really gonna shine. It is so squishy. This is the road trip cardigan. And I love it. And then here's the back detail. Right? Right. I love it. So this is, excuse me, this is a new to me designer. Her name is Laura, and her designing name or knitwear name is Modest by Laura. It is a very well laid out pattern. I have been very very much enjoying knitting from this. I really appreciate the way that she has her all the numbers lined up for each size throughout the pattern, because normally I would go through and like circle my size on all the numbers so I wouldn't get confused. But she's gone above and beyond and color coded, so I know that I need to look for all the green ones. I don't have to go through and circle my number, I just have to look for the green number, which I think is very fun and adds a little bit of pizzazz to the pattern. I'd never seen that before, so I thought that was a very fun idea. I am using a new to me yarn. It is also white or cream on the bottom, and I love it so much. Do I have any of the ball bands nearby? Oh, I think I do. Hallelujah. So, I'm using Forge by Hudson and West Company, I should say, which is very wonderful. And I did not technically say this, but it is safe to assume that we got all this stuff from Maker and Stitch. Obviously not the knit picks, but we went on Friday? We actually went Friday and Saturday, and it was really wonderful. So this, I've never knit with this yarn. I've seen it before. I know that they've had it in Maker and Stitch for quite a while. This is the Dusk colorway. That's the pink. And then Aspen is the white. It's more of like a creamy color, really. So I am loving it. I am almost done. I cast it on like that night when we got home, and I divided for the sleeves maybe Saturday evening. I got quite a bit done. It was very wonderful, or maybe on Sunday, but either way, it did not take me very much time at all. We have a very deep raglan, which I love, super comfy, cozy. There is a collar, a ribbed collar, and obviously we have ribbing at the bottom, and we'll have ribbing on the cuffs as well. I picked up my sleeve today, and I've made good progress so far. I don't know why that line is standing out, but that is where I picked up. So it'll block out. It's just that like that one little section. That's very weird. But I'm really loving working on this. I am loving this yarn so much. It is so squishy, and I think it will block out, like I said, just really beautifully. It's not a super long cardigan, but it's also not cropped either. So I feel like it's gonna be a nice in-between. I also wanted to make sure that I used the yarn to its fullest advantage while making sure I have enough, because that is also important. But yes, I am just really loving this. Again, this is the Road Trip Cardigan by Laura, or Modesty by Laura. This is Forge by Hudson and West Yarn Company. This is the Dusk colorway. I love it. It's just such like a soft mauvey pink, and I just am very much in love with this color. So that is a thing. Then, hold on, my husband is calling me. Okay, we're back. So, there were just obviously lots of lovely samples at Maker and Stitch, and there was one that I remembered seeing the last time that we were there, and I was very interested in it, but it wasn't like a top priority of mine necessarily, though I think it is just absolutely beautiful. And then my mom and my sister saw the sample, and they were like, we need to do this as a knit along. And I was like, well, I won't say no, because I do love this. And so we got these, which is Kilburn Woolens in the Camper base, which I love. I have never knit with this before, but I'm very excited. And then a Is this a crazy Zauber ball or just a regular Zauber ball? I don't know. It's a Zauber ball of some form. Which I just love this color. And they had a sample of Andrea Mowry's Montana Mountain Cowl. And it was just so beautiful. And I love knitting with this. I love knitting with Zauber balls. It's just such a fun experience. You have such beautiful colors. Obviously, it's very similar to Spin Cycle, but I feel like this is a little bit more accessible. And more readily available to some people. But I'm excited to see that there are more and more options that are coming on the knitting market that are similar to Spin Cycle, but are at the various levels of price, which I appreciate because I love that look, but I also don't have the budget for Spin Cycle. So this is a fun alternative, and I probably would prefer this anyway. And I just love these two colors together. So it's basically a tube that you have a provisional cast on, then you eventually put the two ends together, and you have, I think they're slip stitches. They may not be slip stitches. It may be like actually color work, but either way, I'm so excited. The sample that they had there also had mohair held with it, which I was not super interested in, but my mom and my sister did decide to add mohair to theirs. And I can't wait to see what they picked. All of our color options are very different, which I love. I feel like each of our colors are an accurate representation of our personalities and our styles and our color preferences. And I feel like this describes me very well. I also love how small these little Zauber balls are. I think they're just super cute. So I'm super excited to cast this on. I'm not sure when I will cast this on. I think it may be soon though, because I did wind up one of the skeins just recently on, what day was that? Wednesday when I worked? Because I think that would be just super fun. I don't know. I don't know. It's not like I don't have other things going on, you know. So, lastly, when it comes to yarn acquisitions from Maker and Stitch, I got, this was not a super spontaneous, I did have this in the back of my mind. I got this daylights from Harrisville Designs, which I am so excited about. I had a plan of knitting the Graceful pullover by, I can't remember now, which I may still do that. I may do that, but I also love how woolly this is, and part of me is just like, you need more cardigans, you don't need more pullovers, and in which case, I think a colorwork pullover is definitely in my future because I love it. This is the Bloodshot color that will focus. But the cool thing about this like line of yarn, I guess, they have the daylights and then they have the nightshades, and basically they have their one like core, like the cream color, but then they spin it or they card it with other colors. So this Bloodshot one is kind of like a pinky. I know it's very, very, very subtle. It's quite actually apparent when you have all the different ones together. It's like, wow, that one has a green undertone, that one has a purple undertone, this one has a pink undertone, and there's a red one. But when it's like by itself, it's kind of hard to tell, especially on camera. But I'm just so excited to knit with this and fully decide what I'm gonna do. So I will keep you updated. I have it all ready to go. I have things in mind. It may be the Graceful pullover because, you know, it's really whatever brings me joy, that is the most important thing, you know, that is the priority. And I will still wear lots of pullovers. If I've knit it, I will try and wear it as much as I possibly can because I love that so much. So much. Also, very quickly, I wanted to mention that I did recently just get some more stitch markers and progress keepers from Jen of Hand Stitch Life, and I did show you those two that I had, but I forgot that I had one on here, and I love this one so much. It's like a little ball of confetti, and it's just so happy, and I love that so much. So I got that one, and then also she had some that were actually on clearance, and I was like, I have had my eyes on these for forever. How did I not know? I need to get them now. And so I got these two little guys as well, and I think they are just so beautiful. I think they were in like her, it had to do something with space or like constellations or something like that, and I just think they're so beautiful. So I'm so excited to be knitting with those because we love a good progress keeper. I have so many. You can never have too many progress keepers or bags or projects or needles. Anything that is involving the craft that you love. Good tools are important, and accessories are important, and progress keepers are like jewelry for your knitting. So who can say no to that? But I have talked for a long time and my voice is tired, and I have shared all the possible knitting that has possibly happened, and goodness gracious, there was a lot. I hope that next week's episode probably won't be very long because it's always hard the second week back after a break because it's like I can't really compete with that amount of content unless I take 2 weeks off. But I do want to say that I believe, so I'm just now looking at my calendar. So my plan is to, and if you're new here, I usually take the last few weeks off of the year before the year ends, either right after or before Christmas, just because I want to take a break, which I know I just took a break, but also it's good to do that. So there will be this episode, there will be next week's episode, and then one more episode that will come out on the 22nd of December. And then I will take a break for the rest of the year. So you have this episode plus 2 more before we say goodbye for the year. But I just wanted to let you know ahead of time what my plan was. And yes, I don't know if I will be doing any fun videos that have holiday stuff in them. It just really depends on what all is going on. We are going to be very busy this holiday season, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So we will see, but I don't know. I always watch all these Vlogmases, and I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, I could do that next year. No, I don't think I could. It's just, I applaud those who do, and I have great respect, and I love watching them. I just don't think I could do that. Maybe someday, but this year, and probably not next year, but who knows? I have no idea. Never say never, you know? I don't know what will happen next year around this time. Things can change at the drop of a hat. You never know. Anyway. Wow, that is all that I have for you. I have talked about all the possible knitting things. I hope that you had a fun time. I hope that it was relaxing. Maybe you got some good crafting done. Maybe you got some good pet snuggles. Drank a good beverage. Had a good snack. I have all the various social medias. I have show notes. I have yarn store information. If I happen to forget anything, or if you just want to ask a question or say hi, please feel free to send me a message on Instagram. I would love to say hi and have a little chat, or if I've forgotten something, which is bound to happen, that would be wonderful. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and if you celebrated Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with family or friends or whatever you ended up doing. I hope it was a good time for you. I hope you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are very successful. I have lots of crafty plans. We have making progress on my advent calendar. We have finishing my road trip cardigan. Maybe casting on the Montana mountain cowl. Working on my clove sweater. I don't know. We've got lots of options. And then we have all my other whips that are back there. Right there. And there's another pile over there. But it's much smaller. This is mainly where they all are. So, you know. See, it's nice having the tree because the tree kind of covers them all up. Makes things easy. And hidden away, and makes me not as overwhelmed as to all the projects that I have to finish that are waiting for me to work on. It's not that I'm overwhelmed by like the idea of needing to finish everything. It's just that I feel bad and I'm like, but I really want to work on that one, and I want to work on that one, and I want to work on that one, but I don't have enough time, and then what do I pick? I don't know. It sounds like a 9 problem right there. I don't like making decisions, but sometimes you have to, and that's life. Anyway, on that serious note, thank you so much for being here, for being you. You are wonderful. You are enough. I hope you had a wonderful time just hanging out. I appreciate you giving up some